Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 strongest gods in Mortal Kombat. Now before we kick off this video, I'd like to let you guys know that we currently have a partnership with Loot Crate, which is a monthly subscription service for a box you receive each month in the mail containing different geeky goodies. Each month always has a different theme, so no Loot Crate is ever really the same. Now this month's theme is space, so each Loot Crate is guaranteed to feature something from Mass Effect, Destiny, Ratchet & Clank and XCOM. So it seems like December's Loot Crate is going to be really damn cool. Now if you are interested, please look in the description below, as we have a link to their website, and if you use our discount code HBTWarrior, you get a 10% discount off your first purchase. Now on that note, let's get on to the video. Now for this list, I'm going to be excluding the Elder Gods as a whole, as really we don't actually know the Elder Gods individually, and they seem to be more of a society than actual individuals. However, people who have acquired the status of Elder God and dropped it will feature on this list, as they are themselves individuals. I'll also be featuring those that are demigods, as there have been a few within the series, and demigods within the series have done some rather crazy things. Now I'll be marking them by their impact on the series, the notable feats they've done, and kind of their power level. I'll be taking references from the original timeline and new timeline to use as examples and displays of their power. Now might I say that this is my own personal list, and I'll be marking it by my own criteria, so understandably you don't have to agree with every pick on this list, and if that is the case, please put down in the comments below your own top 5. Now let's get to the list. Now at number 5 I have Raiden. A fan favourite and one of the few demigods within the series, Raiden has always come across as a very standout character. A son of Argus and former general of Shao Kahn's army, Raiden does hold a few merits to his name, but sadly despite this, Raiden hasn't really been handled that well as a character. Despite having an amazing character design, Raiden has in fact never won a single fight in Mortal Kombat, which is why he's so unfortunately low in this list. It's a shame too, because out of the 3 sons of Argus, Raiden has always been my favourite, because in each game he kind of gets this new interesting design that's a mixture of both Asian and Arabian culture, and the outcome each time always is phenomenal. Now outside of just his character design, Raiden has this kind of cocky, arrogant personality, as since he's a demigod, he thinks very highly of himself. Now like I mentioned earlier, Raiden hasn't done too well in terms of combat, which is a shame as the character seems to have been now rendered to nothing more than a henchman, and sadly with all these new characters coming out in the future, Raiden will most likely be lost in the shuffle of characters, and we may never see him again. And it seems like Raiden's actual villains weren't the Mortal Kombat characters in the games, but in fact how the writers portrayed the character, and this is a very tragic fall of grace for the Edenian demigod. Now at number 4 we have Fujin. A pure god, Fujin is the god of wind, and is another favourite of the Mortal Kombat series, making his debut in mythologies, and in fact at one point taking over Raiden's role as protector of Earthrealm. Now despite this, Fujin has always been treated as a side character, and as such we don't essentially see too much from him, which in all honesty is a shame for the character, as his potential seems to be untouched. But in saying that, having the title of god doesn't mean you're a pushover, as we can see in Mortal Kombat X, where he alongside Raiden are defending the Sky Temple from countless waves of Netherrealm demons, so Fujin most certainly is quite powerful. Now in terms of design, Fujin has always had this quite holy, majestic look to him, and it really does work for the character, as with each costume it's not too much and not too little. Outside of that, Fujin as a character is in fact extremely bland, unfortunately suffering from the same lack of writing that Raiden did. Fujin himself seems very deprived of personality, and this sadly leads to him feeling extremely one-dimensional. His costume and power is what keeps him so high on this list, and unfortunately much like Raiden, if Fujin isn't given much more character in the next game, I could just see him fading into the background. So hopefully NRS at some point will go into his untapped potential, but until then Fujin remains at number 4. Now at number 3 we have the fallen elder god Shinnok, a character that is extremely powerful but very flawed. Now Shinnok at one point did have the title of elder god, which yes means he's extremely ridiculously powerful. Plus with the prequel game Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, Shinnok was given the time to kind of forge himself into being this extremely powerful villain to fill Shao Kahn's shoes, and he was a very formidable foe. And the one bit of praise I always do give Shinnok is the fact that he was able to become his own villain. He didn't need to take the aspects of Shao Kahn and add it to his own arsenal. It allowed him to become a much more sophisticated and cunning villain, and he was extremely good up to the end of Mortal Kombat 4. Despite being defeated, he wasn't dead, and the writers seemingly just kind of dropped the character, which is a real shame too if you think of the build up that he had. Now Shinnok's presence alone is what keeps him very high on this list. His presence is feared, and that's what a good villain should invoke in someone. If that's not the case, then there's clearly something wrong with the villain. Now in terms of character design, Shinnok isn't something to really be impressed by. He's a pale guy in some robes, but it's his mannerisms and rather cruel personality that keeps him quite high on this list. Now the reason why he isn't higher on this list is due to Mortal Kombat X, which rather poorly handled the character of Shinnok, giving him this extremely crazy looking form, but having it lose to essentially plot armor, which really did hurt the character. There was a lot of build up to him, he got this really cool form, and within about 5 minutes he was defeated. It really hurt the character badly, and with him pretty much being turned into a vegetable, I highly doubt we'll be seeing Shinnok ever again. Now at number 2 we have a tie between Taven and Dagon, the sons of Argus and the half-brother of Raiden. Now there was no doubt in my mind that these two had a place on this list, as although they're not as iconic as some of the other characters on this list, they were given their own personalized campaign, which allowed the players to explore the characters more, in which we learn of their main quest, and how one of the two brothers will ascend to godhood. And I believe that by having an entire campaign based around them, they were able to be given a lot of screen time a lot of other characters lack. Now in terms of design, these two are quite different, with Taven looking quite similar to a divine being, whereas Dagon looked like a barbarian. And that's what's really good about these two characters. There's so much diversity between the two. Now in terms of strength, these guys are extremely powerful, being almost equal, but of course due to Taven being a protagonist, plot armor does allow him to win. Now despite this, he has a lot of wins under his belt, beating the likes of his brothers, and even Fujin, who was also featured on this list. Now due to these characters being extremely similar, I thought it was just best to put them together for a number 2. Now it should be no surprise who I have at number 1. Mocap. I'm kidding, it's obviously the thunder god Raiden, the character that we've seen the most out of the entirety of this list, and a character who's shown his power again time after time. He has countless feats under his belt, having guarded Earthrealm for thousands of years, ascended to becoming an elder god. Raiden really has done it all. Now Raiden is definitely the strongest of the elder gods we have in fact seen. Using his abilities to take out so many characters within the series, he's shown us all that he truly does deserve the title of god. Now Raiden in both his normal and dark form have always had interesting costume designs and personalities. As normal Raiden, he's very kind and is seen much more as a mentor. However, in his darkened state, he comes across as a lot more vicious and kind of a lot more straight to the point. He's also shown us that he's well aware of knowing how to render an elder god more or less helpless, and it just goes to show that he's truly a force to be reckoned with, which is why I have Raiden as my number 1 god. And that's really it for this list, guys. I understand that my number 1 was fairly obvious, but I did try my best to not kind of pull out my favorites and just try and play devil's advocate throughout. Now I hope you guys enjoyed this list, and I want to let you guys know that I'll be doing some fighting game movie reviews on this channel, first off featuring the first ever Mortal Kombat movie from 1995, just to do something a little bit different and fun on this channel, and something for me to recommend you guys to watch over the holidays. Now please down in the comments below let me know what you'd like to see on my next top 5s list. Now as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.